she's...
The light.
I know, you want to see, well,
Nah, I'm good.
yeah, listen, brown skin need the light, okay? The topic of our discussion tonight is called Founded on Love, Made with Love. And she has a documentary called Handmade with Love. I want to talk about the category that we're in, the hair care category that we're in. And there's been what we call a premiumization of the category. And so a lot of products are now being sold in the premium price range, but all of them don't necessarily have a premium offering. A premium proposition. I mean, they're sold at that price, but they don't necessarily have the ingredients that separate them. So can you talk to me a little bit about how you chose to come into this space and really are helping to elevate it?
Right. So I don't know how many of you guys know my story, but Camille Rose, I founded my brand in my kitchen, truly in my kitchen. I did not set out to get into the hair care space, the beauty industry at all. I started formulating products for myself and my family for a couple reasons. One, I went on this whole quest. I wanted to live this whole holistic, natural lifestyle. And then I started having kids with severe eczemas. And all the products that I found on the shelf that told me that they were natural and organic, nothing really worked. And so I was just bringing my kids to doctor after doctor after doctor because it wasn't just dry skin. It was bleeding eczema, severe bleeding, diaper rash. And every doctor that I would bring to them, they would tell me the same thing. Make sure you are label reading your ingredients, right? And so I started doing just that. The products I was buying that said organic, I didn't know had one organic ingredient in the entire product, and it didn't work. And so the doctor would just prescribe steroid creams for me. You can't keep using steroids.
Right.
And so I was like, you know what? I am going to just research, take it upon myself, and make everything just for me and my family. I found this herbalist out of California, and I studied under him. So I took like a year to research what herbs meant, the benefits, oils, butters, the whole nine. And I went to my kitchen and I started playing. Loved everything, right? Loved the results. I remember showing my husband, I made this diaper rash cream that I still haven't come out with, that I need to come out with.
And there's a space for it.
Yes.
There's definitely a market for it.
Used it on my baby. The next day I was like, my God, it's gone. Like, I got something here. I need to share it with everybody. I'm a therapist, right? So I was working in the home health industry at the time. And I said, well, how do I get this out? Called a laboratory, didn't know anything about it. They started talking numbers to me. I'm like, what? How much? Hey, it's gonna cost this? And I hung the phone up. I was like, I ain't doing it, forget it, right? So I did not let that stop me. What I told my husband was, you know what, I'm gonna throw up a website and just see how it goes. And it went. And
order it's still going.
It went. This was like 10 years ago, y'all. It went, and I remember I would pack my own products, label my own stuff, go to the post office, ship it out. People would call me, and I was changing my voice, acting like my own customer service rep.
How many of you have done that? How many of you have done that? I know many of us have done that.
I'm like, how did you hear about Camille Rose? Oh, well, Camille Rose does this, that, and the third, and I found it on Facebook, and I'm like, wow, I need to share it with the world. And then at that point, I took my brand serious and started growing it, right?
And that's so interesting because, it really speaks to, the fact that you found the ingredients that actually work.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you do that, when you make it to retail shelves and you get through the commercialization process, you realize that all those ingredients that really work may not be as...
Those ingredients, Camille Rose is premium because those ingredients are very expensive, and I wasn't put a little bit of this ingredient in my product. I was putting a lot. I was making it for me and my family, so it had to be the bomb.com.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
It had to work.
And I didn't want to, once I got into retail, I didn't want to change my formulas. I didn't want to give the consumers who got me on the shelves, I didn't want to skimp on them. You know, I wanted to make sure they were getting the best.
You know, that's so funny you say that, because there is the notion or the concept in the industry that Black women recognize the differences in products and they're willing to pay for products that really work.
Yeah.
So that allows for a premiumization in the category. So what we see is a decline in products that are sold under $8, but everything that's over $8 to $10 to $15, it's growing, because, you know, women are now looking for
Well,
products.
they try, you know, if you're a brand that's not owned by somebody that look like me, they'll try to play you and give you whatever.
You got a microphone? Do you have a microphone?
A ton of water,
Yeah.
a ton of water, a little bit of the good stuff, and then charge you $5.99 and think they're doing you a favor because it's $5.99 that y'all gonna buy it. You know what I'm saying?
So when you see products that are priced a certain way, just pick it up, turn it over, read the back, and you'll see whether it's substantiated or not. And I think we have a brand here that has stood the test of time and that is really growing. So you talked about the fact that, you know, you started this in your kitchen, self-proclaimed and recognized as a master mixtress. And so you've got Handmade with Love. And I think you've explained to us how you came up with that.
Yeah.
And how it really fits you. But I went on vacation in Martha's Vineyard over the summer, and Janell.
Have you guys gone to the vineyard in August? Y'all gotta go.
Let me tell you, it has gotten so packed. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of activities. You feel like it's a convention instead of a vacation.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, no, I don't think I'm gonna make that. But one of the first things I did, I got off the airplane and my house wasn't ready or anything, so I just got changed.
Your
in the
house was
bathroom.
bad too.
Yeah, my house is
I
bad.
passed by your house. I was like, that's Romina standing outside.
Okay, all right. Let's stay on
You
top.
got that house. It's hard to get a house in August on the vineyard,
We're
y'all.
gonna stay
I'm
on
like, what she
topic.
doing? She been
So when I got off the
y'all
airplane,
should have saw my house. We was like scared of roaches. But
I'll hook you up.
please.
Yes. Back to what I was saying.
You got up there.
Right, I got off the airplane. You know, they have the film festival, you know, Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. And the first thing that they did was they launched a documentary by Janell Stephens.
Yes.
And it was called Handmade with Love.
Yeah.
I went to the documentary. I'm going to let you talk about it. I went because I was going to support Janell.
Yeah.
But it was such an inspiring story, an inspiring message. And I'm going to let you talk about why you came up with it, but I'm going to tell them what really moved me about it.
So I went to the vineyard last year for the very first time, and I fell in love. I was so impressed with seeing us like just doing great things there in the month of August, and it was just worry-free, carefree, flip-flops, no makeup. The kids are running around. It's a safe space for us. And so I went there for the Black Film Fest, and I told myself, you know what? I'm going to release my own documentary here next year.
Just think about that.
Yes.
1 year later,
And
power manifestation.
I ended up doing it. And of course, when I say these type of things to myself, and in the process, I'm like, why in the world am I doing this? What am I doing this for? You know, but I always tell myself, if God whispers, you have to listen. And went through the documentary, but I told my team, I didn't want the documentary to just be all about me and my brand. I needed to bring other people up along with me, because we have so many talented people, and it's not just hair and makeup.
Right.
It's all kinds of things. So I wanted to show them some love as well. So the team, we found people, a winemaker, hat maker,
Furniture
makers, and we interviewed them, and they had the opportunity to talk about their brand, talk about their whys, talk about what motivates them, talk about their whole product and the future of their product. And so that's what the documentary was about.
Yeah, and when I first sat down, I thought it was going to be all about her story. You know, Handmade with Love, how she started in the kitchen. That's what I was expecting. But it was a guy on there talking about, I was like, what? I had rushed and got in the bathroom for all of this, but it was so encouraging. It was so inspirational. And it was stories, people just telling their story about how they made it through and how they became successful. And I just thought it was selfless of her to use her platform to elevate other creators, creators who just had an idea, who just had God whisper to them, and now they're able to be successful, and you hear their stories as well.
And then who had similar beginnings to me. Like, I didn't have a ton of money to start Camille Rose. I grew Camille Rose at my own pace. If I got an order, I got an order, you know, put it back into the business, and I took my time to grow and self-funded. And the people that we had in our documentary, the same thing, similar story to mine.
How can they find out about the documentary? Where can they find it?
Well, I haven't released it.
Okay. Well, when it's released, because
I showed it at the film fest.
Okay.
And now we gotta keep tweaking. Look, I need some funding for that.
Oh, okay.
We need some funding.
We're ready for it. Okay.
And all this stuff, like when I do stuff like that, like the documentary, all that stuff is self-funded.
Yeah.
So now we're coming together and say, okay, what's next? What do we do with it? You know, how can we continue to grow Handcrafted in Love?
You know, to that point, it tees up right where I want to go next, talking about being self-funded and growing at your own pace. And but you have grown. You were doing a really good job. I know it's tough, but to go from level to level to scale requires a completely different skill set.
Lord,
you know,
mindset too.
Yeah.
Girl, your mindset,
Yes.
Janelle, get out of the warehouse taping up the boxes. You need to be doing this, because I'm so involved in my brand, in every aspect of my brand, and just so passionate. And I guess when you're paying for something, you gotta make sure that everything is done right. Let me tell you something, it has not been easy at all.
Yeah.
I got into Target, was my first retailer. The funny thing is, I got into Target the second year of me starting my business. I know nothing.
Congratulations. That's an amazing accomplishment.
I just happened to do a hair show, and I had my brother drew my silhouette, my little labels, and nobody was at the show. But somebody was at the show.
Your brother drew this.
Yes. It was a Target buy.
And it's on the shelf.
I guess he was bored like me, because I'm like, oh my God. I loaded up my truck and drove out here. I was in Louisiana at the time. And nobody's at this show, but he was there. And the funny thing is, he walked in my booth. He had flip-flops on. This is why you don't judge or discriminate against nobody. If somebody asks you your craft, your passion, start talking. If you're a singer, somebody say, sing, let me hear you sing. You better start singing, because you don't know who you're singing to.
Right.
So this white guy, long hair, backpack, shorts, flip-flops, he walked in my booth. I guess he didn't have nowhere else to go either, because the show was so dry. And I was like, tell me about your brand. And for a split second, I was like, well, it ain't really for you, you know. But then I was like, okay, let me tell you. This is why. My kids started having eczema, and I couldn't use da. And by the end of that conversation, y'all, he pulled out a business card and said, I am a buyer from Target. I would love to fly you up to tell your story. Woo! Second year in business.
There you go.
Because I was like, oh my God, okay. So when I went to Target headquarters, I went by myself because my husband had to stay back. And I was going up the elevator, like slapping my face, like, am I really
Is this
here?
real?
Yes.
Is this happening?
And I thought that I was going in to talk to him, to meet him. Girl, I opened that door,
And
it was about 12 people around a table looking at me. I'm the only black girl in the room. And I was like, oh God. And he said,
they wanted to
"It's
hear
okay,
from
just
you."
Tell your story.
Yep.
And I was like, well, okay. And I started talking, like they was talking retail language I've never heard of in my life. And by the end of that meeting, one of the lady buyers was like, you had us at hello.
aw,
You had us at hello.
all that talking.
And so, I'm a talker.
Right.
So, but I do want to say this though. Target, this is a lesson that I tell everybody, especially young entrepreneurs. They wanted to give me a bunch of doors, right? And I knew that I couldn't handle that because I was still making my products in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
I think it was like 1,000 doors. I was like, no, thank you. Well, how many? I said 100.
Right.
And I started with 100.
But you know what? What you've just said is probably the key to retail success. Growing at your own place.
Yes.
What you don't want is to be somewhere that you don't belong or that you cannot sustain.
Yeah.
Because a chargeback, a return from Target or Walmart can injure you.
Yes.
Okay? And you will be limping
You will be.
trying to recover.
And
So
a no could always come back and turn into a yes.
right, so grow at your own pace. Don't let people push you. Don't go beyond what you know you're able to fulfill.
Yeah.
So in doing that, you've grown to a place. Now you're far beyond 100 doors in Target.
Yes.
We've got, expansion into Target, many other retailers, Walgreens, CVS, the whole nine. She's in all of the retailers.
Yes.
Ulta, which is a beauty specialty chain, So we've seen you grow in success. What is the biggest challenge that you feel you've had to overcome? A real one, like a real,
I have several.
Okay, just one.
You want one?
Just,
I got two. I got
okay,
two
give us two good ones. Okay,
I got
let's go.
two
Let's go with two good ones.
y'all.
Okay.
So the first one was me finding a laboratory. People don't know this. I don't even know if you know this, but that first year I was in Target, I was still hand making products.
Trying to get it done.
Let me tell you something. I don't know what I was thinking. Target gave me their first order, right? And I'm like, okay, 10,000 products. That's what it was.
From the kitchen.
This lady across the street from me, she was the housekeeper to people across the street. And I was going to the mailbox and I saw her and I stopped. I was like, hey. We started talking. And she came in. She was like, you need some help, baby? I was like, yes. And so me and her was in my kitchen. And let me tell y'all something. Of course, I didn't fulfill everything, right? After that first order, I'm like, we did it. Okay, we good. Then another one came.
You got another order.
I thought it was one order, y'all. I'm like, what was I thinking?
Replenishment.
This is a business for real.
Right.
And so it took me forever to find a laboratory, which I knew nothing about, that would believe in the same thing that I believed in. Because every lab that I would visit, their chemists did not like the fact that I was a kitchen chemist. And I ain't coming in there telling them what to do and how to mix their products, right? And so they wouldn't take me because a lot of our products were food grade ingredients. And laboratories was like, you don't have to use this. There's a synthetic for this. Use it, it'll do the same thing and it's cheaper. And I didn't want to change. I was like, I can't do it. And so one laboratory gave me an opportunity. This is what they said. I'll help you out, but you have to buy all the ingredients. So I was basically just using their tanks. And when I tell you I had drums of honey, almond milk, going to that laboratory, I didn't know that the lab would tell me that my orders was too small for them to help me. I didn't know that. He was lying to me.
Oh.
He was double dipping. I was in Target that whole year and I didn't make nothing because I had to buy the ingredients, ship to him, and pay him to make my stuff. I did another show, and then at that show, a manufacturer was like, let me see your orders. And I showed him, he was like, that ain't small. We'll take you. That's how I found out.
That's how you found out.
I found out.
Well, I'm glad you were able to find out because I know the orders got much bigger than that. So my last question for you is, being a mother, a wife, how do you balance your life and still manage to keep your hair combed and your orders fulfilled?
I don't now.
You don't?
I was better at that in the beginning. I'm serious. Like, people would ask me that and I would be like, yeah, it's easy. Do this. Child, now, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I'm older, but it's hard. And I'm trying to figure out if it's such a thing.
Is there such a thing as balance?
Yeah, I don't know if that's the truth or how. But what I try to do for myself is give back to myself, and that's like, I gotta get into this gym every day and do something. I don't care what it is, but I have to do that for myself. and that makes me feel better. If I miss it like 2 weeks, for some reason I'm like, I ain't feeling right. My second challenge was finding and growing a team and people to help you, and being able to trust the people that you bring on. Y'all would not believe it, but growing Camille Rose up until about a year ago, it's been a solid 5 of us that's doing the damn thing, and they are here. Our team was always been small, but very mighty. We make it look good on the shelf. That's Miss Janell Stephens, who has helped me with marketing for years. Tanya, me and Tanya and Milan over there.
Yes.
This girl right
Come on,
here,
we're about to
Eve,
introduce
my
them.
stylist. So I do have to recognize them, and just, it's been very tough, been very small, just a handful of people, but we did it.
You're
It's
doing it.
doable.
You are
Yes.
definitely doing it. And having said that, you talked about your stylist here. They're doing a product demonstration using some Camille Rose products in the corner. Let's go and then have you narrate what's going on over here.
She's on live all the time. Eve is our master stylist. She's been with the company 4 years. She's using our Spike Honey Mousse. Is that like a wash and go set?
I was kind of talking to her while the panel was going on, just kind of getting some background on her hair. So she told me that she does like to do wash and goes, but the front of her hair is a little bit looser because of her wearing slick back styles all the time, which I kind of like to advise people against, because tension can be just as damaging as heat. So it can also cause the front of your hair to straighten over time. So right now I'm just doing flat twists in the front of her hair and a wash and go in the back. So once her hair dries, she can, you know, take those twists out and she'll get the same texture like she would with her wash and go curls. And I'm using the Curl Love Moisture Milk. So all of the Camille Rose products, if you are experiencing breakage, dryness, you don't even know where to start, this is where you need to start because this is going to give your hair so much moisture.
So one of the things that I want to say is that CURATOUR is about introducing you to the newest and best in beauty. And in order to be featured here, it has to be either a new product that's launched in the last 12 months or the best product in its class. And Curl Love is one of the best products in hairdress lotion in terms of best selling.
And then one of the great things about Camille Rose is because of the integrity of Janell and because she really cares about the ingredients that are in her products, they can be used across any age group. I use it on my 2-year-old. I used it on her when she was 1. You can use it on your grandma, your dog if you want to. You can use it on anybody.
Okay, not on the pets.
So if you're definitely struggling maintaining moisture, this is gonna be the best product to start with because it will help maintain that moisture over an extended period of time. I know with natural hair, a lot of people feel like it is more work, but it doesn't have to be more work. And so the good thing is right now with her wash and go, which I don't know if you guys have been washing, but it's only taking me a couple of minutes to do because of this mousse. So the spiked honey mousse has so much hold and it gives so much definition. I don't know if you want to turn it around.
Is this new?
It's one of the newer products,
Yeah.
but it's very slept on as well.
But you know what? Mousse is like one of the fastest growing products because women are discovering the many uses of mousse. We used to have to cross the aisle and get mainstream mousse products from across the aisle, but now women are discovering it for curl defining, they use it for wig application, they use it for relaxer, wrap set.
I actually use this mousse myself whenever I do a wash and go or when I do a twist out. So if you can only have one product with you anywhere, I take this actually on vacation. I hop out of the pool, put it in, put some chunky twist in. By the time I go to dinner, I can take my twist out and I have a nice defined style without having my hair weighed down. I still have a lot of movement. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just doing her flat twist with the mousse and then also defining her curls with the mousse as well.
Okay, well, we'll check back in with you on the final style. Thank you so much, Angela. Let's give Miss Janell Stephens a big hand. So, Janell, last thing I want to ask you is what's your favorite song right now? Oh, wait. Okay, keep it clean here.
Victoria Monet. I get it from my mama. That is Queen.
That is her favorite song. Do you have it?